Have you joined the Politics Nation conversation on Facebook yet? We hope you will. Today, our Facebook fans are eager to hear from Rachel Jeantel herself. And I will tell you about the interview that is coming up. Better still, we'd like to know what you think about the interview, and let us know what you think by heading over to Facebook and search Politics Nation. Like us and join the conversation. After you check it out, join the conversation that keeps going long after the show. Coming up, my interview with key witness Rachel Jeantel. She talks about the defense team, her critics, her relationship with Trayvon, and reveals where she was the night of the verdict. That's next. Jurors heard 12 days of testimony in George Zimmerman's trial, but one witness received more attention than any other. 19-year-old Rachel Jeantel. She was Trayvon Martin's friend. She was on the phone with him moments before he was killed. Over 2 days, the defense questioned her for more than 5.5 hours total. She testified Trayvon Martin told her a man watched him and followed him as he walked home that night. We sat down for an interview and talked about her testimony and how she's dealing with all the attention. I'm sure these last few weeks have really been tough for you. How you doing, first of all?
Well, I'm doing great. I'm holding on.
How have you been managing through all of these emotions the last couple of weeks?
I have supporters. I never hear the disappointments. I heard all the, oh, you did this on the judgment. But I stay with my supporters. I have my attorney, I have my family that hold on. So I kept holding on to now. You
were the last one to talk with him, and I know that had to mess with you with anybody. And it seems like they didn't have that in mind at all when they were talking to you. I respect that. And but you were, and you became critical, but at the same time, they didn't want you to testify. When they talk about you didn't want to testify, they tried to fight your testimony.
Yes. Are you talking about the state or the defense?
The defense.
The defense never wanted me there. Best way to say it, they had a plan for me. They was coming after me since October.
Really?
Yes.
Well, why do you think it was so important to them that they didn't want you there?
Phone records. She showed kind of proof. What George said on the tape, 911 tape, she said it. And remind you, before the 911 tape came out, I'm the one. My voice came out before the 911s, all that. And I told them, and listen to his 911. It matched what I said. So when you had told the story even before the tape had come out about what he was saying, screaming and all of that, the tape came out after you told the story. It really corroborated what you had already said. Yes. And the state just hold me like, okay, you're my strongest witness. So they called. I went to Jacksonville. They went back and forth with me, and the defense was just asking me question every month. Is a new, what was you doing here? Trying to figure out what I am, who I am.
Right.
Trying to figure out the bad of me. Oh, I want your Twitter, Facebook, your family. What my family had to do. This don't have nothing to do with me. It's not about me. It's not about my character. It's not about Trayvon's character. It's what about that night, what happened that night. Who caused the situation to happen?
And you kept going back, kept answering their questions.
I never stopped. I never, ever stopped.
I think, coming up as I did, I thought you basically handled being attacked a lot cooler than a lot of young folk I know because, at some points it was like almost, well, let me show you one question that Don was actually tell me how you felt about it.
Are you claiming in any way that you don't understand understand English?
I understand you. I understand you. I do understand English.
My question is, when someone speaks to you in English, do you believe that you have any difficulty understanding it because it wasn't your first language?
I understand English really well.
I mean, the way you kind of looked at him and then you kind of went ahead, I mean, it was like, what are you talking about?
That day, I know, well, the day before I had to deal with Don, I already know what he was coming after, so I had to show him more respect. That's when the yes sir started. And when Don had asked me that question, and I had been talking English with him for that long,
right,
and I felt disrespect. I felt like he disrespected me, so I couldn't say nothing, so I had to hold on. And I said, why are you asking me this question? I was thinking, why are you asking me this question? I'm speaking English to you.
And have had conversations with him leading up into the trial. And this never came up?
This never came up.
So now, if you were pre-interviewed by the defense and the prosecutor and it didn't come up, why does he come up and bring it in the trial? Did you think he was trying to
attack me.
And for what? To try to rattle you on the stand or something?
To try to get me angry. To just show the jury, look at her. She's angry. She's a friend. If she angry, you should imagine how Trayvon is.
As you sat there, you knew, and you're saying this by your statement, that you were representing Trayvon, that in many ways, being the friend that you were to him, they were going to judge Trayvon's character by you, which was a real burden that you had to carry that you didn't ask for.
Yes. Yes.
How did you feel when you saw that Instagram photo of Don and his daughters spoofing on you?
Well, you know what? At first, I was angry. That's an adult. You shouldn't act that way to a teenager. And he was coming after me. Right now, I'm over it. He's an adult. He have his life. I have my life. That don't have nothing to do with me. That don't hurt me at all. But that was disrespectful. And I'm better than that. Right. I forgot it. I'll leave it alone. Don is Don. He'll do what he wants, so I'll do what I want. So he could post all he wants. To me, I won.
You won?
I won.
How'd you win?
A teenager. I'm a teenager. Don, how the jury think of an African-American teenager, they supposed to be cussing. I did not even curse Don. I didn't show him a lot of respect because he was acting childish. He was acting ridiculous. Questions. Back and forth, back and forth. But I kept my ground. I stand strong. I never curse. I know the first day was, oh my God, I couldn't deal with him no more. But I still held on to him. You're not gonna break me. Me and you went through so much. You think you're gonna break me now? I'm going after you, but the nice way. So.
Joining me now is MSNBC contributor Goldie Taylor. Thanks for being here, Goldie.
Thank you, Reverend Al.
They didn't break her after all she's been through. Remarkable. What's your reaction to hearing her words?
Well, I do. I think it is remarkable. You know, she is 19 years old, and I don't know very many 19-year-olds, not mine, not myself when I was that age, who could have withstood that kind of pressure, months of deposition, months of inspection into your personal life, into your social media, into your family's life, you know, that kind of picking apart, and then to be on a witness stand on literally a world stage when every cable network is on you, to withstand that kind kind of scrutiny and still maintain your sense of respect and integrity to continue to answer the questions as forthrightly as possible, I think that in itself is a remarkable thing. She's a young woman. I could not expect a lot less.
I have more I'm going to show, Goldie, so I want you to stay with me. But
sure.
I was struck by how, when I would just ask her certain questions, she would come forcefully and sometimes cut me off because she wanted to explain herself. This was a very determined, very direct young lady that we saw here, not at all like her critics claimed, and strategically understood what the other side was doing. Like, I had no idea that she'd met with the defense and they knew how she speaks and knew all of the things, yet they got to understand and acted as though this was some stranger and that they were, oh, you have a problem with English, and no wonder she was taken back.
She certainly had more grace than I would have had, Reverend Al, I'll tell you that. You know, there is something called a communicative complex where you communicate differently depending on the forum you're in and who you're speaking to. And so how she may have addressed you as opposed to who she may have addressed, say, an adversary, as she may have seen Don West, how she may have addressed maybe the family's attorneys, or maybe she may have addressed Sabrina Fulton. All of that is different in different settings. I think some people that I saw, especially online, took her to be maybe less intelligent and less savvy because of the cadence of her speech, not understanding that this young woman speaks 3 languages. I don't know many of us who can say such a thing. That they, you know, there are studies out there that says, you know, if I see you as beautiful, I am more inclined to trust what you say. If I see you as something less than beautiful, then I seem to believe that you are less than credible. I saw an awful lot of that online. I heard an awful lot of that on the networks.
Well, let me tell you,
it was disappointing.
She's very intelligent. Goldie, stay with me because part 2 of my interview is coming. Up next, Rachel Jeantel responds to all of her critics and reacts to the verdict in the George Zimmerman trial. More from my interview straight ahead. And we want to hear what you think about Rachel Jeantel's interview. Please visit our Facebook page. That's facebook.com/politicsnation. And let us know what you think.